Yeah, I come in earlier. I've been out most of the day, and as usual, I come in and do my checks on my tanks, and I've gone into the first couple with like some pellets that hadn't been eaten. They're at the bottom of that. I've got to siphon them out, but I thought, yeah, no problem. Gone on to the next one. Yeah, going to do a water change on that in the morning. Next one. Yeah, there's still some RTMs in there. The Grimodis ain't polished them all off. And the B9, I check them first because to make sure that they ain't got through their divider somehow. The female is like an escape artist, but yeah, then there's all's fine now. I've had to barricade up the divider a lot more, but got to these little pain in the arse Amphilophus flaviolus, and they're just, I mean, I've bred Beani, Dovi, Red Devils, Midas, Flaviolus. Well, that's what these are, yeah, Flaviolus, and Jags. Well, then there's a good few, and these are by far. Well, no, not. I can't just say these, but the Labiatus, the Midas, the Sits, the things like Flavs and all that. I mean, then you've got the other ones like, is it Zaliosis? But I think that's more like a Labiatus in body shape and appearance. But if I had to put money on it out of the two, I'd say a wild Labiatus over a Sit all day long, or a Midas all day long, even a wild caught. But it depends, and you've got part of the same complex, sort of, which is, well, it's a separate species, isn't it? But you know what I mean, Chanchos, which you know what I mean, resemble the Midas more than Labiatus. I mean, they're like hyper aggressive. Trimax can be really aggressive, especially on their partners and that. But yeah, these, even at such a small size, like the RTMs, I know they can be nasty when they're older, but the fry really aren't that bad. Yeah, they're actually quite wary and that, and you don't see much of them. They come out and they dart in. These are literally not scared of anything. I had to bag some the other day for someone who travelled literally like miles. But I mean, for people who keep cycling, distance ain't really nothing. Travel, I've done some serious distance for fish, but yeah, this fella's come down, so I bagged these. I literally just dropped some flakes on the top. They all come to surface, go over the net, and I literally scooped up about 15 in one go. But he only wanted, I think there's about 6. No, he wanted 6. I think there's about 7 in there, or 8 maybe. But yeah, it's like within the last week, it's like obviously you've got fish now that are sort of coming into like the dominance of over the tank, because before this female down there, so you can't see because this tank's so deep. Or tall, should I say, not deep. You can't really see it at the bottom because you've got the wood blocking out the light, but you've got the cube in there. She's a good 5.5 inch, coming up 6 inch maybe, and she always had no problems keeping them in check. But you see them now, they wouldn't even come near her before. Now, like, you can see the bigger ones, especially some of them, which are some I'd put money on a male. You could tell a male already with a big nuchal humps. But I mean, you do get female flares that actually do get quite a big nuchal hump as well. Not as big as the males normally, but big enough. Do you know what I mean? Enough so that, you know what I mean, without venting, yeah, they're easily mistakable, because they even the females have the long trailers on the fins. They are beautiful fish, but it was weird. They didn't breed for. Sorry, I will get back to the topic in hand about what I found, but yeah, like they're beautiful fish. I would normally say Amphilophus are one of the easiest species to breed, like group of species, like different, like all of them I think are pretty much easy. Yeah, once you've got a pair, but I mean that's most cichlids to be fair. But with amps, that's the main thing, is that, and I suppose the aggression on the female a lot of the time. But yeah, normally they're not hard to get to spawn. But where I introduced them, and the male was, I wouldn't say he's old, but he was fully grown when I got him. Whereas the female was still like young, so I had to grow her out before I could introduce her and that. And it took like the best part of 2 years before they ever spawned. After about a year and a bit, she was big enough to go in with him and that, but still nothing, because he'd already been paired once. He was one of the original F1s that was in the country, that come through a trusted, someone who I would trust in what they say from like up Birmingham way. who's known for Midas and all that. I don't want to name him in case he's not happy about it, but yeah, it come from him, and he knows what he's doing with the amps. He's gone a bit native now, so yeah, he's not really doing the tropicals anymore. But yeah, the original pair come from him, and then they went to someone up in Kent, and then the male killed the female, but they thought it was the female killed the male. It weren't. It turned out once I got it, it was the male that I had. So by then I'd already ordered a male off of Rob Johnson for this female to grow out, and he said he had one, sent it to me. And to be fair, he obviously didn't invent it, but to look at, it looked every part of the male. It already had a nuchal hump, it had the trailers from the fins and that. And I got it, grew it out of it, and then put them in together, and lo and behold, oh no, they didn't spawn just like that actually. They ended up having to go into an 8 foot with a load of other fish in there, like big, like tough cichlids as well. And then I got them back off the fella because they went to him because I didn't have no more space, and they was there for about, I don't know, 8 months, no, about a year maybe, and then they come back to me, and then I put them in a tank just on their own, just a 4x2, and which is, I know it's a bit on the tight size. The male was about 13, the female probably 11 by then, and they spawned, so they obviously needed the bond to be, you know what I mean, formed properly by having something to guard against or fight against, like a common enemy. But yeah, so that was that. Then once they started spawning, they wouldn't stop. If you took the if you left the frame, they used to eat the parents alive, all their fins right down. They tried. Well, I didn't let it get that far, but I've seen it before where people's fish have been bitten right down to the actual, you know what I mean, the actual spines. So yeah, no, I didn't want that happening to the fish, especially ones that are actually quite rare. Loads of people say they've got flavs. I've seen a couple of videos of people in the UK saying they've got flavs. They don't look like the flavs that I had. The flavs that I had look, well, you can see the adults on my videos, how much red was on them. But yeah, they are nice fish as far as the amps go. But yeah, I come in today. Normally, before I turned the fish room around and started wanting instead just to keep single pairs. Well, I always only had single pairs, but I'd get like 6 or 7 foot tanks and then could only have this one pair in it. So I realised I'd be better off getting like 4x2s and just having single pairs in there, and just don't get fish that get that big. Like, you can get away with some amps and that in there. I mean, not like chanchos and, you know what I mean, when you start getting to like the 14, 15, 16 inch fish, it's a no-no in a 4x2. I mean, you could keep a male, I suppose, on his own in there, but it wouldn't be the best idea. But yeah, I used it as a spawning tank, bred them and that, but then they wouldn't stop. So they've gone to someone, an acquaintance from Kent, or a friend of a friend, but yeah, he's got them there spawning for him as well. So yeah, no, good luck to you, mate. He's actually done alright. He's a newcomer with cichlids, and he actually spawned a pair of fish that weren't mine, that never spawned in my place, but I've realised I had this constant problem with fish where they just wouldn't do what they should be normally doing. And it was the tap water. My tap water, the pH is like 8.6. So for things like bean eye and like fish that don't want such, you know what I mean, hard water, it was no good for them. So now I just use a mix of RO and tap water, and it's perfect now. They spawn way more than they used to. Another thing, and I don't know what the thing is with that, but I seem to have much more luck with spawning with sand in the tank. But yeah, basically when I've come home, I've gone around doing all the checks and all that, checked the first tank with the commodities in it. Yep, he ain't polished off all the RTMs, so they're coming out tomorrow. Well, if they make it tonight, they're going to be going in. I've kept him well fed though, but they're going to be going into this tank now. They're big enough to go in here, because I've got to start making more use of what space I've got in my tanks. I'm going to be moving some fish on as well. All of these are going to be going, literally all of these. I might keep one of the Cubans, but yeah, I've got 2 in there, so one of them's going to be going. But yeah, I've come in and that, so I normally, oh yeah, sorry, I've done the commodities and that's all fine. Done bean eye, check them, got some food in the tank, and then come over to this one, and there's like 4 of them floating around. I thought there was one first of all. As soon as I lifted the lid, there was more. I'll see the rest of them, but like literally eaten down to the the rib cage sort of thing. All the spines were shut in. There's not hardly any meat on them whatsoever. You could just see little bits of white meat. All the skin had gone, and like the head was still there, obviously, but the eyes were gone. All the lips extended and that. But I mean, I know a lot of particulars do that when they die anyway. But yeah, it looks quite gory. But all because they normally get fed 3-4 times a day. They do get heavy water changes on this tank, and you'll see I literally over filter on these. On this one now, I've got a Fluval 406 there. It's just got different pipe work with it. So, I used the pipe work for something else before I used the filter. But then on this side, I've got another Fluval 406 and a Fluval U4. Not a Fluval U4, sorry. This is one of them, just a Chinese internal filter lighter, but it's got a high turnover. And I've got a K1 tumbling in the bottom of it, and then different media going up. But yeah, nothing that really like clogs like that, it passes through it. So it's not really for mechanical, it's literally just to turn the water over and just get a little added bit, I suppose, of bio. But I've got really like top quality media, bio media in both my filters. I use top quality media in all my filters. That's one thing I won't scrimp on. I'd rather scrimp on the filter, yeah, and be a cheapskate with the filter and spend all the money on media than the other way around. Than getting like, I don't know, the one that everyone seems to love, the FX6 or something, and just using it with what comes with it. I'd much rather buy the 406, yeah, and fill it up with decent media. Because as I said, I got them really cheap. I got them very, very cheap. Brand new in the box. But so the amount of difference I could have spent on media, but I didn't. I spent about £100 on each one filling them up. But yeah, they literally demolished 3 of them. And funnily enough, one of them was a big one. No, 4 it was, sorry. Not 3, 4, yeah. But totally demolished. It was like 2 little small ones and like a medium-sized one, and actually like one of the big ones, so... Yeah, that just goes along with the territory, but yeah, I'm going to have to go back to using automatic feeders when I go out. I mean, I've got them down there in that cupboard, but... What can you do? It's one of them things, but... On a brighter note, yeah, that's the only thing that was wrong with this tank was some pellets I chucked in there when I went out earlier. Hadn't been eaten, so I've got to hoover them out in a minute. There's some Pleco shit in there as well. But he used to wood, so there's just these big piles of like wood that's been digested that he's ponied out. But yeah, again, I feed quite heavily with my fish. Not ridiculously, but you know what I mean, a decent amount. But yeah, enough to keep them where they're hungry enough to come, you know what I mean, up at the front of the tank when you come in. But it definitely helps spur them on with the breeding and that, giving them proper varied diet and putting random stuff in it, like bits of prawn and squid or whatever. But yeah, you can see all the wigglers down there. If I had to hazard a guess, yeah, no, it's definitely more than a couple of hundred there. I'd say it's not just that part of the dish, it goes round. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't know, yeah, maybe 300. But yeah, this one doesn't have such big batches. The one that's over there, that one in the corner that's divided, is quite nasty. That one there, she's had a batch before of about 500, 500. Which I know is not huge for cichlids, but for Nandopsis, I think that's quite impressive. I imagine I've never had a female bigger than the other one in the other tank, so I don't know exactly how many they go up to once they're full size, but it's the biggest I've had, and the one in the other tank's probably 6.5 inch, the female. And the male's a good 10, 11 inch now. He's a big boy. I love these fish. These, the Gramodes, the Beano, yes, that I've got at the minute really. Cubans, Beano and Gramodes. I've actually got a bit of a surprise about Beano as well, but I'm going to do that. I'll keep saying that. I've got a video to show very soon. But yeah, so basically, yeah, I've got this many tanks, and I mean, I've got them in my passageway just stored there, waiting to be put into use. I mean, it's been there for about 2 weeks now, so I've got to get this out. Well, I've got to get it put in place tomorrow. I've got this stand here with no tank on it. Just got a little tank place dumped on top for somewhere to put it. And I've got a cabinet there that's, I don't know, I don't feel completely certain about it because of the structure, the way it's not structurally sound, should we say, because it's MDF and they get a bit blown when water over the time gets into them, and it loses its, you know what I mean, its strength. So the last thing I want in a flat, or if you're American, in an apartment, is another flood, because, you know what I mean, that is a nightmare. It's not so bad if you're in a house and you're on the ground floor, it's your basement, but yeah, and I'm renting as well, so it costs me a fortune as it is to live here, so yeah, paying for the ensuite and the privilege of having a landlord who really don't give a shit. Well, he does when there's floods, but other than that, he just leaves me alone, he just wants the money, but he's good as gold, to be fair. But yeah, automatic feeders going back on, and you're going to be seeing some new species and some new breeding of fish that I haven't done videos of me breeding before. So yeah, I've got some new stuff in the pipeline that I've got coming. I keep saying it as well about doing a media luna, and the only thing I can't make my mind up is what tank to use for it. That's the only problem I've got. So I want to keep, ideally, 4 show tanks. And they don't have to be just strictly that, because I'll provide them if need be for the purpose of breeding and that. I'm not really too fussed about that, to be honest. But it'd be function over form, to be fair. But you know, I want to do Labradors, or failing that, if I can't get them, Bartoni. But really, I would much rather do Labradors or Talamanca Heroes, as Frassi, and what was the other one as well? Tuba. I've done Siboldi, or Siboldi, but I thought it was as Frakai, but I see the one with Dan Sharifi from Kota with Chris Biggs, and he was pronouncing it as Frassi, so I'll go with what he says. But yeah, they were Thomas Sickler, but they're Talamanca Heroes now. But yeah, any of those two, or it was Hericles Labradors, I think it's Nosferatu or something like that now, but they change all the time, so I don't really, to me it's just Hericles Labradors, but yeah, blue or yellow, but I'm not really that fussed. But I haven't seen the blue ones up for sale. I've seen yellows before, but I've never seen blues. It seems like everyone goes for the yellows, doesn't it? Or it might be that the blues aren't that common, I don't know. I mean, neither really are, but sometimes you see them on the lists from importers. From like, it used to be tangled up in cichlids a lot, but it mainly seems to be Kota now. People doing Kota orders. But I can see why. The quality of the fish is definitely there. It's top notch, 100%. I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean, saying anything bad, but I prefer the fish that I've seen come from there, of Kota, than I do from, say, Don Conco or someone. I know Don's a pioneer on the subject of cichlids and bringing them into the hobby, and him and Dr. Paul Azeli, they've literally been on countless expeditions together and discovered fish and didn't discover fish, and well, in the case of the Parachromis Azeli, turned out to not to be, but yeah, it don't exist anymore. It did for a while, and then that was it, gone. It's been named something else. It definitely looks like a different fish though, I can understand that, but DNA really stops all the old conversations of people's opinions and people arguing over things, and DNA pretty much puts all that to rest on it. But in a way, things like that are a good thing, but they're also a bad thing, because it means people can then start, like they done with, I thought the red tail catfish and tiger shovelnose hybrids were done by just letting them pair together. They showed, I watched a thing in Asia, because they're superstitious, they don't want food fish that's got red meat, and the red tail cat has. So they crossbred it with the tiger shovelnose by using hormones in the water to spur them into breeding. And So now they've got a fish that grows even quicker than a red cell. The meat in it is white, so that it's counted as a food fish over there. But obviously loads of them, again, have then been released into places and all that, and they're just way, way more aggressive than the normal form of Eva that are in it, and they outgrow them. If you look at a higher fish rescue, their big tank boss, the one that's in the huge swimming pool one, that's a hybrid between the two. They're nasty catfish. But so good, I suppose good and bad comes with everything, but well, with most things, I wouldn't say good things come with all. Things like Jimmy Savile, I wouldn't say there's no good that comes with that, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I've been going on a bit, but thanks for bearing with me if you have managed to last this long. If you have, respect to you. Thanks.